This is where Derrick Groves, an Orleans Parish jail escapee who was on the run for nearly 5 months, was found. It looks like a chair was set up for him to climb inside of a crawl space. Tear gas is burning our noses. Drug paraphernalia all around. The space is trashed. This is where Derrick Groves was found, in the basement of this house on Honeysuckle Lane in southwest Atlanta, Georgia.
You ever heard of someone vanishing from a lockdown jail, slipping through one of the most secure facilities in Louisiana and managing to stay free for months? Well, that's exactly what Derrick Groves did. His story isn't just about an escape. It's about planning, manipulation, and how one man outsmarted the system for 5 long months before it all came crashing down. But before we dive deep, if you love gripping true crime stories like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss an upload from Shadow Crime. You know, it takes a lot to dig into stories like these, so your support really keeps us going. Now, let's talk about Derrick Groves. To most people, he was just another inmate, quiet, reserved, and not the type to cause chaos. But behind that calm face, Derrick was always thinking. He'd been locked up in the Orleans Parish Justice Center, a place with cameras, guards, and almost no chance of escape. But Groves had something most inmates didn't: patience and a plan. See, while others were doing their time, Derrick was studying the system, watching guard shifts, learning the routines, figuring out which doors were open at what times. And slowly, he started forming connections. One of those connections would become the key to his freedom: his girlfriend, Darriana Burton. She wasn't just anyone. She used to work at the jail. Someone who knew the ins and outs of the system better than most. Over time, investigators say the two stayed in touch, using a jail-issued iPad to send secret messages. Sounds crazy, right? But it worked. Darriana allegedly helped him communicate with people outside, planning each move carefully. Then came May 16th, 2025, a day that would shake New Orleans law enforcement. While most inmates were asleep or following the normal routine, Groves and 9 others vanished. Just like that, gone. 10 inmates missing. It was one of the biggest jail escapes Louisiana had ever seen. People were shocked. How could 10 men disappear from a secure facility in broad daylight? Rumors started flying. Some said the guards helped. Others believed it was an inside job. But Derrick? He was already miles away, watching the news, probably with a small grin on his face. Police quickly launched a manhunt. Flyers, press conferences, and U.S. Marshals joined in. But days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Every now and then, people claimed to have seen him. A tip here, a sighting there, but nothing solid. Groves had gone dark. But here's the thing about running. You can't hide forever. And Derrick's time on the run was about to hit a wall.
Top at 4, a prison break that made national headlines comes to a close in Metro Atlanta. This was the scene in the last 2 hours. SWAT removed the inmate from a house in southwest Atlanta. This is the man they say escaped a New Orleans prison 5 months ago, along with others. Channel 2's Tom Jones is live in southwest Atlanta. Tom, you were the only reporter to get video of Derrick Groves handcuffed and placed in that patrol unit.
And Karen, let me walk you through how I managed to get video of 28-year-old Derrick Groves as officers got him out of this home here. Police kept us back as they were in the middle of a standoff with Groves, trying to get him out of this home. Then my photographer, Leonard Ragland, saw deputies near the scene give each other high fives. Then the officer who kept us back left. Of course, we knew what to do, so we moved down close to the scene, and that's when I saw Groves in handcuffs surrounded by officers.
For months, Derrick Groves lived like a ghost. No one could figure out how he managed to stay hidden so long. Think about it. No job, no ID, no legal money trail. Yet he was out there blending in like a regular guy. That alone made people wonder, who was helping him? Because there's no way someone could survive 5 months on the run completely alone. Rumors started swirling. Some said Derrick had changed his appearance. Others believed he had moved out of Louisiana entirely. But deep down, law enforcement knew he was still in the South, somewhere close, just waiting for the right time to move again. the U.S. Marshals weren't giving up. They were patient, tracking every clue, every phone call, every person who might have been in contact with him. Then, in early October, everything changed. Investigators got a tip. Someone matching Derrick's description had been seen in Atlanta. At first, it sounded like another false lead, but this one felt different. The Marshals moved quickly, setting up surveillance in a quiet neighborhood. Days went by and nothing happened. And then, just like that, one small movement gave him away. When the Marshals surrounded the house, they didn't find Derrick out in the open. Instead, they found a crawl space. And down there, tucked away beneath the floorboards, was a man they'd been hunting for 5 long months. Can you imagine the silence in that moment? After all the searching, there he was, tired, cornered, and out of options. But that wasn't the only thing they found. Inside the house, authorities discovered guns and over 15 pounds of marijuana. That changed everything. What started as a simple escape case was now about to become something much bigger. Investigators believed Derrick had been part of something deeper, and more people could be involved. And let's not forget about his girlfriend, Darriana Burton. Remember her? The former jail employee? Well, she was arrested too. Prosecutors accused her of helping him escape, using her access and connections to make it happen. Imagine that, risking your entire career and freedom for someone behind bars. When news of Derrick's capture broke, people were both relieved and stunned. 5 months of freedom gone in an instant. But the real question everyone had was, how would the court handle this? Would he face a harsh sentence? Or would he somehow manage to find another loophole? After being caught, Derrick appeared in a Georgia courtroom. He didn't fight extradition. In fact, when asked if he wanted to stay and face charges there, he simply said he wanted to go home. But home meant something very different this time. It meant going back to Louisiana to face the consequences of everything he'd done.
Do we have Derrick Groves?
Yeah, he's right here.
If you could come up, sir. I'm right here. Have a seat, if you don't mind. Good morning.
This one or the green one?
So, sir, I'm Judge Wolf. This is your extradition. I'm going to go over your rights so you can decide whether you want to waive extradition or not. You're wanted out of the state of Louisiana for aggravated escape. I'm going to explain to you first what happens if you decide to have an extradition hearing, then what will happen if you decide not to have one. So you have the right to an extradition hearing if you choose. You have the right to hire an attorney to prepare for and conduct that hearing. If that's your choice, I will postpone the hearing for a reasonable time, 60 to 90 days, for you to obtain counsel. The law does not give you the right to a public defender or appointed attorney for purposes of extradition. If you choose to have the hearing, I will recite your case 60 to 90 days to allow your attorney to prepare for the hearing. At the hearing, there will be 3 issues. Are you the person named in the warrant? Did the governor of Louisiana sign the warrant? And what you're charged with in Louisiana, is that a crime in that state? I cannot consider your guilt, innocence, the merits of the case, or evidence connected with the underlying case. If after the hearing I determine that the requesting state, Louisiana, has met its burden of showing those 3 things, then they would have approximately 15 business days to pick you up. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. If after the hearing I were to find that Louisiana failed to prove those 3 things, then you would be released. You also have the right to waive or not have that extradition hearing if you choose. If you waive your hearing, then Louisiana has approximately 15 business days from today to come get you. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. However, you may be held up to 30 days before being released. Regardless whether you're released in Georgia, you are subject to arrest again at any time as long as this Louisiana warrant remains active. So even if you are released, you may wish to consider returning to Louisiana to have the matter resolved. Also, the media is here. I want to let you know they filed the appropriate paperwork. It's called Rule 11, and that was signed by one of our judges, our chief judge, and so they are here as well. You also have the right to remain silent. So let me just ask, though, do you have any questions about your extradition rights? No. And do you want to challenge extradition, or do you want to return to Louisiana?
I want to return where I'm from.
You want to go back to Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do find you freely, voluntarily, and knowingly are waiving your extradition rights. I'm going to sign the paperwork, and that's all we're going to do here today. Thank you, sir.
When Derrick Groves finally arrived back in Louisiana, the atmosphere was tense. Cameras were everywhere. Reporters were waiting outside the courthouse, and people online couldn't stop talking about it. After months of chasing shadows, the man who embarrassed the system was finally back in custody. But you could tell from his face, he wasn't broken. Derrick looked calm, almost like he knew this moment was coming all along. His first court appearance was virtual. He joined through a video call from Angola prison, wearing that standard orange jumpsuit, emotionless but alert. The judge read the charges. Simple escape, though prosecutors hinted it might be upgraded to aggravated escape, depending on the evidence. When asked for his plea, Derrick didn't hesitate. He said, "Not guilty." It was bold but not surprising. This was a man who had already proven he knew how to play the system. The courtroom was quiet. Reporters scribbled notes. And while it seemed like a routine hearing, what came next raised eyebrows. Prosecutors began to talk about what they found during his capture, those firearms, the drugs, the people who may have helped hide him. It was no longer just about a jailbreak. It was about what happened afterward. They hinted that several others could be charged soon, including anyone who gave him shelter, money, or transportation. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. Derrick's escape wasn't random. It was calculated. He built connections, gained trust, and used those relationships to survive outside for nearly half a year. Some say he was manipulative. Others say he was just desperate to be free. But either way, it's hard not to wonder what was going through his mind during those 5 months on the run. He wasn't hiding in the wilderness or living under a fake name in another country. He was right here, among people, moving in silence. It's almost like he was daring law enforcement to catch him. And when they finally did, he didn't put up a fight. No drama, no shootout, no resistance, just quiet surrender. Almost as if the game was finally over. His next hearing was scheduled for October 30th, 2025. By then, investigators promised more arrests and said they were digging deeper into how the plan was executed. The public wanted answers. Was there a network inside the jail? Did more staff help? And most importantly, how did a supposedly secure facility lose 10 inmates at once? It's the kind of case that exposes the cracks in the justice system. Because if someone like Derrick Groves could outsmart the system once, who's to say others won't try again? As Derrick Groves sat in his cell once again, reality must have started to sink in. The brief taste of freedom was over. The silence of cell walls replaced the thrill of running. You can only imagine what goes through a person's mind at that moment. Regret, pride, maybe even disbelief that it all ended so suddenly. But here's what really stands out about Derrick's story. He didn't just escape from jail. He exposed how fragile the system can be. A single man, with enough patience and planning, managed to slip through the cracks of what was supposed to be a high-security facility. That's not just a failure of security. It's a failure of awareness. And when you look at how calm he appeared in court, you almost get the feeling that he wasn't sorry. Some say he carried himself like someone who had already accepted his fate. Others think he was still plotting his next move, even from behind bars. Whatever the truth is, Derrick's mind seemed like a maze, cold, calculated, and hard to read. Investigators are still building their case. More people are expected to face charges, especially those who might have helped him hide in Atlanta. And prosecutors are pushing for the maximum sentence, hoping to send a clear message to anyone who might try to follow in his footsteps. But let's be real, stories like this always make you question human behavior. What makes a person take such a huge risk? Is it desperation? Is it ego? Or maybe it's the belief that freedom, no matter how short, is worth everything. It's easy to judge from the outside, but imagine being in this position, locked away for years, watching life pass by from behind bars. Would you take the chance if you thought you could actually make it? And if you did, how long could you live looking over your shoulder, wondering when they'll finally find you? Psychologically, cases like Derrick's are fascinating because they show both courage and self-destruction. The same mindset that made him bold enough to escape also led to his downfall. It's a dangerous balance. One wrong decision, and everything collapses. So what do you think? Was Derrick Groves a criminal mastermind who outsmarted the system, or just a desperate man chasing an impossible dream? Do you think people like him can ever change, or are some minds just wired to defy control no matter what? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story as gripping as I did, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive from Shadow Crime. We bring you the truth behind the crimes, raw, real, and unfiltered. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous escapes aren't the ones that happen outside the walls, but the ones that start in the mind.